Hello, IMF family. Pastor John Brayland, the General Overseer here at IMF. And this is the third in a series of teaching videos that I want to share with you to help equip you for ministry. And today I want to talk about something that you do all of the time, and it's this: communication. That's right, communication. But specifically, feedback. In other words, how do you give good feedback to your staff, to your volunteers, even to people in your own family and your relationships? Because the truth is, most of us are actually not very good at giving feedback. I was always taught to give people a cookie. You know what a cookie is? A cookie is like you say something good, and then you share the problem, and then you say something else good. So you give them a cookie. It's kind of like an Oreo, you know, here's the good, here's the bad, here's the good. Well, what do you walk away with when you give someone a cookie? You walk away feeling like you were a good communicator. The other person, on the other hand, did not hear the bookends of the cookie. All they got was the frosting in the middle. It's kind of like getting a pie in the face. And they heard blah, blah, blah. You're bad at this, blah, blah, blah. So how do you give feedback properly? How do you help people by just giving feedback? Because everyone wants feedback. We want to know, how are we doing? We want to know if we're doing things right or not. So there's three different types of feedback, all right? First one is this: it's affirmation. Feedback is affirming. You can say, I want you to know you did a wonderful job. When you were greeting people on Sunday, you looked them in the eye and you shook their hand. And you leave it there. That's affirmation. You're affirming them. That's feedback. So you're saying you did a really good job. And the more specific you are, the better it will be received. Okay? And you can't do this. You can't say, hey, you did a great job on Sunday. I want you to know. No, that is horrible feedback. You want to look them in the eye, whoever it is that you're talking to, and simply give them words of encouragement or affirmation. You want to say you did a good job and then leave it at that. So that is the first type of feedback. The second type of feedback is coaching. Now, coaching is where you say, I want to give you a coaching moment. And just a side note, which really is a center note, whenever I give people feedback, I tell them what type of feedback I'm going to give them. I say, I want to affirm you, and then I share why. Or if I'm coaching, I say, I want to give you a little bit of coaching here so the person knows up front what kind of feedback they're going to be receiving. Coaching, just imagine if you're coaching baseball and you're coaching someone in front of you. You say, hey, maybe it's a kid. You say, put your feet shoulder width apart, hold your arms up, hold up your elbow, and keep your eye on the ball. You're coaching them to be a better hitter at the plate. Or when it comes to throwing a baseball, put your arm all the way back, release the ball, and use your hips to gain some power. That's a coaching moment when you're coaching them to get better. So when you coach someone, especially someone who's close to you, you're coaching them, they will understand that you're doing it in love. I recently had a conversation with another pastor who is not a very experienced speaker. And when they were speaking, they would be drinking water in between their points. And really it was a stall tactic, and it made their message come across unpolished. They were nervous. So I said, I want to give you a little bit of coaching here. Are you really thirsty, or are you just stalling? They said, I'm just kind of stalling. I said, take your water bottle and throw it in the garbage. You don't need it. You're only speaking for 20 minutes. You do not need a drink. They took the water bottle off, set it aside, and then they were able to speak clearly without any distractions. And afterwards, they actually had to do several more services. The other services went fantastic. That coaching move was to help this person become a better speaker, and it worked. They received it, and this is a long time ago, and they still understand that I coached them to help them to get better, and they got better. So they received it in love and what was meant to be sent. It was a coaching moment. So when you coach someone, you want to come alongside of them and say, hey, I want to give you a tip or a pointer here that will help you connect with your audience. Or I want to give you just a little bit of a coaching moment when it comes to how you do administration, or whatever it is. You're coaching them, and you're coaching them because you love them and you want them to get better. So the first type of feedback is affirmation. When you're saying, hey, good job, or encouragement, whatever it is, you're doing a great job. Leave it at that. Second type of feedback is called coaching, when you coach someone to help them to get better. The third type of feedback that we give people on a regular basis and even receive is evaluation. Evaluation tells us, where do we stand amongst our peers? For example, whenever you drive, you evaluate your speed with your speedometer in your car and the speed limit sign on the side of the road. You want to know, are you going faster than the speed limit, below the speed limit, or the speed limit? That's a type of evaluation. So when it comes to evaluating people, we always want to know, where do we stand? In school, when you got grades, you got an A, a B, C, D, or an F. That's how they used to do it anyways. Nowadays, I know it's kind of goofy, but you used to get an evaluation. You're an A student or a C student or a D student, or F means that you failed. That's a type of evaluation. So with our peers, we want to know, how are we doing? Compared to everyone else, where do we stand? Are we doing better, equal, or is there room for improvement? So when we evaluate people, we're helping them to get better. We're helping them to say, you know what you're doing is either, for example, out of the park, you're doing awesome, or there's room for improvement. So when you evaluate people, it's ultimately to help them to get better at what they're doing, or it's an affirmation. So you're not really evaluating, you would be affirming them. The problem comes is when we send these mixed messages, like we say, hey, I want you to know you're doing a great job, but you could do a little bit better, just if you did a few things, and compared to everyone else, you're, I don't know, kind of below par. So what kind of feedback did I just give you? Well, I gave you affirmation. I coached you and evaluated you. That's confusing. You send a mixed message to an individual. So when you give someone feedback, be very clear on what type of feedback you're giving them. You're going to affirm them, just affirm them. That's it, leave it at that. If you're going to coach them, say, hey, I have a coaching moment for you, and then coach them and leave it at that. If you're evaluating them, you can say, hey, I want to just give you a little bit of an evaluation, and then leave it at that. Don't cross over the lines, don't confuse it. That will confuse your listener. And when you give people good feedback, it will actually help your relationship to get stronger and better. And they will know what's expected of them, just like you will know what's expected of you. So one of the greatest gifts that you can give others that you serve with is clear and effective feedback. That's my lesson for now. May God give you strength and grace as you continue to minister and serve people well. Bye for now.